Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Just Lights. Right now I'm working on this pedal signal Model 14 visibar. Just giving it a quick wipe down. Like I said, everything in the shop gets pretty dusty from sitting around for a little bit. Once I get this all cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the history of the visibar and how I acquired this particular bar. So stay tuned. Okay, let's go ahead and get an up close view of this Model 14 pedal signal visibar. I've had this bar for probably just a little over a year now. I actually got it from a really nice gentleman that I met off of Craigslist. We call him Mr. Walt. He's a retired police officer from Sumter County, Florida. He had an ad in Craigslist for light bars, light bar parts, and stuff like that. So I gave him a call and we set up a time for me to come out there and talk with him real quick. All right, so when I went out to his house, I didn't necessarily go out there with anything specific in mind I was looking for. Just more or less, I wanted to meet the gentleman, see what he had for lights, what he had for parts, for possible future projects, maybe even future repairs, or maybe even just walk out with the light, depending on what he had. So I got out there, we're walking out to a shop, and if you're a light person, you would understand. As soon as he opened his door, is like total envy. I mean, his collection was incredible. He had a lot of vintage stuff, just very, very impressive. Well, we got in there, we're kind of talking, and I spotted this bar in the back corner. And this is kind of one of the ones I haven't had in my collection yet at that time, and I've been looking for one of these for a very long time. And they do come up every so often, but people kind of want a lot of money for these things. And I try to keep myself within a certain budget, because you can get a little carried away. So I try to keep it within a certain price range when I'm buying some of this stuff, especially considering it just sits on a shelf. But I asked him anyways, hey, would you be interested in selling that bar? And at first he said no. So, but I was there for like 3 hours. And after 3 hours, I guess he kind of warmed up to me to a little bit and told me he would end up selling me that bar, which was fantastic. So we worked out a price, but originally the bar didn't have the speaker on it and it didn't have the blue domes. What it had was a clear dome on this side with a clear and red bulb and a green dome on that side. I never had that, but he did make me a good deal on it. And then I asked him, just out of curiosity, do you have all the extra stuff I possibly need? Because I do want to turn it into an all blue and I want to put a siren on there. And he had all the extra parts. So he had everything I needed to essentially generate this bar. And we worked out a really good price for it. So very fair deal. We both felt the numbers were good. So I walked away with everything I needed to generate this light. The only thing that I had to do was the siren was designed with the bigger foot on the bottom, the base. That would be designed to say anchoring it to a roof or maybe the front bumper or something like that. So I had to actually custom make this bracket right here to make it fit on this bar right here. So the next video, or the next portion of this video, is going to be me showing you how I built that bracket right there and giving you a little bit of a history on the visibar, what models they had and what years that they had. So I hope you all enjoy this next section of the video, and let's get to it. The visibar, also known as a twin beacon ray, was introduced back in 1962 with the Model 11, and then shortly after that in 63 they offered a Model 14. The difference between these two models is the Model 11 was actually a chain-driven model where only one of the pods had a motor in there, and then there was a chain that ran through that bar, linking the other one to it. And they figured by linking the two lights together, they could have both flashes happen at the same time, which would also increase visibility from larger distances. On the Model 14, the chain was removed and each pod got its own motor, allowing each pod to run independent from each other. The visibar was one of the first bars produced that allowed agencies to attach more than one item to one unified bar to go across the whole roof of a patrol car. Now, the term visibar didn't reference the entire light assembly as a whole. It more or less just referenced that stainless steel bar that would run from one side of the patrol car to the other side. Now, visibar was actually short for visibility bar, mainly referencing the fact that they could attach more than one light to this bar, increasing the visibility as the car was either in pursuit or oncoming motorists if they were on the side of the road. All right, to kind of show you what I've been banging and grinding and hitting on, I needed to make two pieces for this to work. I got the piece that goes on, I guess you'd say the trumpet portion, which is this piece right here that I made. This is the part I was hammering with my hammer, because I got to be able to have something that follows the shape of that the best I can so it looks nice. So I made this right here, left it hollow, so when I drilled the holes for these, I can get the nuts in there, tighten it right up. And then I got this piece right here. This is the piece that's going to go around the bar itself. You can see I had a welt right here to kind of sandwich it just a little bit because it was a little too wide. So the goal here is this is going to go on the bar like this. This will be attached to the siren, and it's going to go down like this. Then there'll be two bolts that go through here and here, all the way through and cinch it down. I left that a little loose. Probably left a little too much play in there, but I did that purposely. So I want to make sure that once I snug this down, it's singed onto the bar tight enough to where I don't get any kind of like wiggle or anything like that, or possibly sliding. So when it's locked on, it's locked on. It's nice and solid. And then the last thing I'm going to do before I fully bolt it on is I'm going to sand these down with probably maybe like a 2000 grit sandpaper, get them as smooth as I can, almost give them like maybe like a semi-polished stainless steel kind of look to them. And I'm going to spray some clear coat spray over to lock that in, so this way they don't get any kind of surface rust on them. And then that'll be the last thing I'll do, and then I'll bolt everything together and we'll have a siren on here. So a fun fact about the Model 14 Beacon, it had a production run from the early 60s all the way into the early 90s. Now this light did go through a couple different small changes as far as like the lamp holders, the motor, things of that nature. Nothing too drastic, but they did have a few different variances of this light. All right, so last night I finished up working on these, getting them polished down and then putting the clear coat on them. Now I stopped at a 1500 grit. The reason why is because I wanted to give it a little bit more of like the polished stainless steel kind of look that the bar is, and not so much of like a chrome that the siren and the collars are. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to give it a lot of that same sheen. So when I put this on here, you kind of look at it, like right here, you can see the sheen between the two is almost identical. It's really good, really close. So, and that's what I kind of wanted, because I kind of wanted it to look like this is kind of been part of this bar, for a long time, not something that was just recently made or put on there. So I kind of balanced it out as far as how much polishing I did to what I wanted it to look like. So the next step is to take this piece and get this bolted to the siren. And then once that's bolted to there, I'll get a bolt on there and we'll see what it looks like when it's on there. I just wanted to show the difference real fast from the bracket that was on it that I wasn't able to use to the brackets that I had to make in order for me to put it on this bar. At least put it on to make it look right. I could have used this one if I wanted to make like a bracket that was screwed to the bar on the top and screwed this to it, but it wouldn't have looked as good. So I felt that I wanted to make it look a little bit more appropriate. So I just wanted to kind of show you the difference between the two and why I had to do what I had to do. So let's get this put on. What was nice about these lights is that agencies could really customize these things to their liking, as far as they could do two beacons on the ends, they could do a big beacon in the center, they could do a siren in the center. They could also put those little flasher lights, they called them a lollipop light, on there. They could put lights on the ends to make, say, alley lights. They could put lights in the center to make takedown style lights, work lights, all kinds of different arrangements that they could do. They were a very universal bar for their time. Okay, now you saw me build that bracket. I'm gonna get a nice up close shot and show you how everything looks. I guess, hey, overall, I think it actually looks kind of legit. Now, a couple of the reference pictures that I saw online kind of showed the wire wrapped in a loom going into the bar right here, so that's why I did that. And then the other thing that the pictures kind of look a little different than what I did is this piece right here looks to be black. So I don't know if it's a black plastic, but I ended up making all mine out of metal and polishing it all the same, so it all matches that way. But overall, I'm really happy with the way that came out. So let's go ahead and turn the bar on and show you the completed bar. All right, so here we go. Overall, I'm actually really happy with this bar. I'm really glad that he actually had all the stuff that I needed to generate the bar that I was looking to do, which was an all blue with the speaker in it. So I'm really happy, and I think he gave me a fantastic deal. Very nice guy. But like I said earlier in the video, I've always wanted to have one of these bars. I've been looking for one for a long time. One of the reasons why is it kind of brings me back to a little bit of my childhood, because back in the 80s, I used to watch a lot of those old car chase movies with my dad. Like the old ones, like the Smokey and the Bandit, Gone in 60 Seconds, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. Those old, good old-fashioned car chase kind of movies. And they've always had these kind of lights in them, and I always thought they were cool. They're unique. They have a personality all their own. They stand out. There's just something about these bars. They're just, to a person that collects lights, these are like the bar, that you want, everything like that. And, unfortunately, they don't make good old-fashioned car chase movies like that anymore. I mean, with all CGI and all that kind of stuff, they're just not the same as they once were, and if you know, you know. But overall, like I said, I'm really happy with this bar. I'm glad to finally have one in my collection. You guys have to let me know what you think about that bracket. I think it actually turned out pretty good, especially with the reference pictures. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.